Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and this video is about how to do Code Wars code challenges. So if you've never used codewars.com, this is a great place to practice coding. But of course, if you've never done coding challenges before, it may not necessarily be obvious on how to do them. So that's what this video is for. Okay, and the cool thing is you can do this in like so many different languages. So what you want to do is you want to go to here to kata. Kata are the different coding challenges. Now, 8 are the easiest ones, and 1 are the hardest ones. So generally what you want to do is try to get through as many of the 8s as possible. Now, a lot of kata are user contributed, so sometimes, one that's supposed to be easier is actually harder, and vice versa, and sometimes the one that's supposed to be harder can be a little bit easier than you would have expected. So it is what it is. But let's say I want to sort from the easiest. Okay, because I just want to find an easy one to kind of show you, and then let's say we want to do one, and you can find all these different languages you can do kata in. I'm going to just do JavaScript, keep it simple. Okay, so these are the easiest JavaScript kata and only approved ones, so ones that have been approved for use. Okay, and let's see here, one that sounds okay. This sounds not too hard. Okay. So basically the way it works is that you're going to write your code here. Essentially what you're doing is you're creating a function. And here is a test. Like, you don't touch this over here. But the idea is that when you hit this test button, it's going to run this test. So this is the function I'm writing, filter. So, and then this is what the results should be for. So the idea is that, hey, if they, in this case, in this particular challenge, I'm creating a function called filter, and I'm building it into the array prototype. So I'm literally just recreating the filter function. So if I'm right, they should be able to pass in this callback and then end up with an array of 4, because they're going to filter everything but 4. Okay, so I'll just do that real quick. But the idea is that this function should return the right value. So the end goal is that this function takes in the argument you see here. So it's taking in this function, and I should return back this result. So I'd have to figure out the function that does that, which is in this case pretty straightforward. So we just do like const new array. Okay, so our new array that's going to get returned. So basically we're going to return this new array at the end. That's essentially the initial premise. But the question is, how do I get from a blank array to the filtered array? Well, what I'm going to want to do is loop over the array that's passed in. Okay. Now in this case, this is a prototype method, which means I'm going to use this. This is the array. If this was, so in this case, I want to say this dot. I will use. I'm trying to think what's sort of the. Yeah, I'll just do this. I want to keep the syntax easy to read. So for item of this. So for this is the array, because again this is a function of, we're adding this to the array prototype, so it's a function of arrays, and you're actually adding it as an array method. So the function belongs to the array, so this will belong to the array that's invoking it. So I'm going to loop over the items in the array. So for each item of this, and all I really want to do is say if func passing in item, if that returns true, because again basically what does this function do, and this is how filter works, you pass in a function that returns a boolean. So is num greater than 3? If it is true, then we push it into the array. So then it becomes new array dot push, and then we push the item, and otherwise we just keep going. So that's going to loop over each item. If the function returns true, taking in the item, it'll push the item into the array, and if not, then at the end the new array should just have the items that pass the test. Okay, so again, now I hit test, and there, and then I hit test, and I see that it did the thing. Okay, see, test passed, value equals 4, meaning the return value of this function is 4. And then you just hit attempt, And then what it does, it gives you a bunch of other tests. So it's going to give you a bunch of other situations and see, do you get the right results every time? And in this case, I did. Okay, apparently those are the expected results. And so it's all green. Now if I get like one red, I got to figure out why that one red scenario happened, and you just kind of keep trying until you get it correct. Okay, so I'll just hit submit. And then you get a score. Okay, and that'll end up adding to my score over here. And then that's it. You just go and you just do another challenge. And again, you can do them in lots of different languages. So you look at the logo, you can hover over it and it'll tell you what language that is: Java, JavaScript, Kotlin, Python. But that's all it is. But this is a great way to kind of pick up. If you're new, there's a couple called Grasshopper that are pretty good starter ones. So I've kind of done a lot of them. So like, I know there was one that was like super easy. Like this one right here, all you have to do is just look for the typos in the function. Most of these are pretty, anything with like the label Grasshopper is pretty easy. Relative. Oh, what language is that? Fourth. Okay. Yeah. So that's, if you're new, I recommend just kind of Googling all the Grasshopper ones or searching for all the Grasshopper ones and doing those first, because those are going to be pretty straightforward. Okay, and that'll get you a good head start or a good feel getting into the and do try it in different languages. So if you have one that you've already done already, do it in a different language. So if you're doing JavaScript, probably the low-hanging fruit would be to do it in TypeScript, because TypeScript is just slightly more difficult. But then try it in Python and Ruby. Okay, and then maybe eventually you throw in Java and C#, and then eventually like C++ and C, and Go and Rust, or PHP. Lots of different languages. And if you really want to make life difficult for yourself, you can try things like Elixir or Haskell, which are really hard. But well, nothing's hard. Really, just means you're not comfortable with it yet. At the end of the day, once you're comfortable with something, it becomes easy. It becomes obvious. So with that, hopefully this will guide you on sort of how to use Code Wars. But again, bottom line is just you just want to create a function that passes the test. So if I click on this one, summation. Oh, I don't want to do that. I'll do basic function fixer. I'll click JavaScript to just do one more for you. I created this function to add 5 to any number that was passed into it and return the new value. It doesn't throw any errors, but it returns the wrong number. Can you help me fix the function? Okay, so let's see here. We have this function that takes in a number, and the total equals the number plus 5. Adds 5 to any number. Here's the error. It doesn't return the total though, so the total should equal the number plus 5, but it doesn't return total, it returns num. That's why it's returning the wrong number. So we just fix that, and I hit test, and there you go. It passed all the tests. So in that case, I can just hit attempt, and that also passed all the additional tests, and then I hit submit, and it's done. Cool. And see, I can see my score going up. Okay, and then maybe I go back and I try it in a different language. So I'll try it in Python. Let's go to train again. So now it's the same thing in Python, and it's just the same answer, total. And then I hit attempt, submit. Okay, and there I got the answer correct. But the bottom line is you don't have to touch that bottom area with the test. That's just so you know what the basic tests are, if you want. But the main thing is just making the function that does the thing that's being described. So, yeah, my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. If you like the video, do like and subscribe. Head over to devnursery.com and join the Discord and Slack community. I'll see you guys later on.